I'm putting my best face on. Thank
Wonderful.
you.
Yes,
Hi,
it's so
everyone.
natural.
It's so natural. We're going to talk about that, right? We're going to talk about masking and neurodiversity
Indeed.
and all of those things with the beautiful, wonderful Eva Ceja, who has chosen to join us today. And I'll let her introduce herself a little bit.
Hi, my name is Eva
Ta-da.
Ceja. I'm an yeah.
Not awkward.
I'm an actor and producer. Yeah, not so good. I'm an actor and producer. Um, that's what I do.
Yeah. She's fucking
Uh,
awesome, guys. Just let's move into the real
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Let's move past the introduction.
She's just great. We've just been talking. We thought we were streaming, so we really got into a flow, and now it's just all fucked up, and
Yes.
we have to kind of start again. But we just went straight in the deep end, and you were telling me about. We were describing anxiety, stage anxiety, that kind of thing, and how we both dealt with it in a similar way, which was drugs and alcohol and masking. And but you were just about to describe to me um, what system you put in place post drugs that
Yeah.
that you kind of use to deal with that sort of level of anxiety.
Yeah.
Um,
So as I'd mentioned before, I was a very big cocaine addict. I was doing like maybe like an 8 ball a day, drinking like
wow.
tequila. Like, yeah, it was intense. And this was in my early 30s too. I'm
Mm.
42 now.
Woo!
Even though I
Beautiful.
picked out.
I've got
And
pigtails too. Look, I've got mine in today in
um,
sympathy.
yeah, nice. We're twinning.
Hmm.
So for me, it was like I had to do those things so that it made me feel normal. Like I could actually like function with other people. And I was telling you earlier, like people, when I told people like, oh yeah, I'm in AA now and like I'm getting sober, and they're like, well, what were you doing? And I was like, cocaine. And they were like, we had no idea because it really did make me feel just like a normal human. I could function in these places. I could talk to anybody. I could like get so much stuff done, and no one ever really saw that how the struggle that I was going through. And that's what they say about like ADHD is like, those uppers really do make you feel normalize you.
Right, yeah, because
And
they're
so
basically replacing the lack of dopamine that we
right.
that is not present, right? So you take something like Coke and a similar way to Adderall, which is obviously the prescribed version of Coke, or
Yeah.
speed, and it's doing the same thing. So you were ending up normalizing, and people didn't realize. And I had a similar experience. Yeah.
Yeah. So now, the systems I have is like I have to have a routine in the morning of like, okay, I wake up, I walk my dog, I go work out every morning, and then I'm ready to,
Hey, there he
and then
is.
I do these other things. I know my dog. So that I can go and do all the other normal things I need to do throughout the day. And then also like if I don't feel fully prepared, I think that's another thing as well. Some people can kind of like wing it, and sometimes I need that script. I need things memorized. I need to go through the and do rehearsals. Rehearsals so important. I think for any artist, rehearsal is really important, and just really understanding. Um,
Mm.
like for me, for acting, I have to know not only the entire script, but I also want to know the other person's perspective in the scenes. I need to know like what's happening in the scene. I need to just know that full worldwide viewpoint so that when I go and do and be the actor and that person in that scene, I
Mm.
know what role I'm playing in the full story. And I think as someone who's like I have level 1 autism as
Yeah,
well,
so
like
that sounds like the autistic side of you, which is
yeah,
to
that's
know everything that
so
you're getting
important.
into. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and so otherwise I can't create the character just without
Hmm.
all of that knowledge. It's like I if I don't fully understand the whole thing, then I feel I have anxiety. I can't function. I start like, I get really like, well, I don't know what to do. I have like decision fatigue because I'm not
Yeah.
sure where to go with it. And
Yeah.
once I know that full picture, it's like everything clears. It's like sunny skies. There's no clouds, and I'm just like, I'm ready to go. So I think that that's one thing as an actor,
Yeah.
that I and performer, I have to know those things so that I can go be at my best.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So
there's some people that I know that can just learn.
you're creating a safe
You
space
what?
for yourself. You know,
Yeah, and I think that's
in the
really
sense,
important as
in the sense
someone
of
who's
knowing,
neurodivergent.
yeah, it's super important that I
Yeah,
mean, a lot of people may label that as perfectionism or control freakism, but there's just a level that you need to provide for yourself to be able to put yourself in those risky situations, and it's a similar thing with
yeah, and
it's the same kind of thing where you need to prepare fully, because it's so it's, you know, those performance and it's chaos really. So you're going into chaos,
Mhm.
and you need some kind of feeling that you can have the reins. So I totally
Yeah,
understand, and it sounds like you've got both of those mechanisms working. You've got the ADHD. Sorry, I'm totally taking over the conversation, but
no,
I
no,
don't
no.
care. So
You what everything you're saying is that's
yeah,
exactly it. And it's really hard
you've
to
got the risk taking side of your ADHD, which propels you to do all of these kind of, which is quite a risk acting, performing. They're all risky subjects, and then you've got the autism part, which is able to control it and to schedule it and to get up and do that exercise. And so it actually sounds like you've got a really good handle on things after coming out of your drug binging. So well done.
yeah, thanks. I do, and I think that like you're if your body and your mind really want to figure out how to get over something, it will. And I didn't know I was neurodivergent until I was 40 years old, and that was 2023
Yeah.
December.
Hmm.
I went through a really bad breakup. I kind of had been with somebody who made me feel like I was a narcissist and that I was the problem and there was something wrong with me and that like, you know, all these things. So I went and saw a therapist and I did EDMR therapy,
Oh yeah.
which I was really helpful. I also did neurofeedback therapy at the same time. I think I probably over therapized myself within
Of
the six
course.
months,
Yeah,
but
of course.
it made me now coming out of that. I found out that I was neurodivergent, because I was like, I need to take these tests. I need to get better. Like, I can't be a narcissist. She's like, my therapist is like, Ava, honey, how often do you ruminate to make yourself a better person? Oh my gosh, all the time. I always trying to work on myself. I've been working
That's
myself.
ground zero, isn't it? That's just
Yeah,
like
yeah. And she was
the
like,
baseline.
she's like, honey, narcissists don't do that. Narcissists don't seek help. You're not one. She's like,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
you're experiencing are narcissistic fleas. And, you know, people who have that narcissism do kind of seek out neurodivergent people,
Yes.
because we are people pleasing. We want to make sure that we're you know, doing our best. We're forgiving.
Hmm.
We see the other person's perspective,
Yeah.
and I do that all the time. And
And we have a lot of self-doubt. There's this sort of questioning of okay, well maybe because I am different, maybe they are right, and maybe they are, you know, maybe I should look at those things, and
yeah,
but it doesn't feel right, but I don't know because I don't truly know. So what do I do
yeah,
with that? I have to discover, and it takes time, and then you just kind of drag things out, and I can see, like, you know, relationships are so difficult to navigate as a neurodivergent, um, eh, that it's no wonder that the statistics are like, you know, they never last. Oh, but there's also the fact that you can, if you find the right combination, that there can be like superpowers together, you know. So and really complement each other if it's understood in that way. But if you don't understand neurodivergence and you're just coming into that, and you're kind of connected to a history uh, of not really knowing what the hell everything is, and the other person doesn't know, and it's just all blame and all kind of like, oh well, you do these things and I don't like that, and it can be so toxic
Yeah.
if you don't educate yourself in these ways. And
And
well
I
done for
think
doing that.
it's really, and thank you so much. It was the one thing my therapist was like, as soon as I did all the tests, I went to 3 different doctors. They all said the same thing: severe combination ADHD with level 1 autism. Because I just wanted to make sure this was correct. And then I started seeing like all my symptoms. I think I read over like 60 comprehensive like neuroscience books about like, yeah, going on
Mm.
PBD, on, on ADHD, autism, on
Yeah,
OCD, on narcissism, because I wanted to understand the full scope of how our brains work. Our brains
yeah,
are fascinating, and
yeah,
the ability we have to do, like, as someone who works out every day, the things I can do with my body are intense. The things I see people who can do with their body are so incredible. It's like
mm.
our brains can do the same exact thing that,
Yeah,
our
yeah,
bodies can do. So to me, like when I started reading all these books, and then I came back to my therapist saying, like, I read all these books and like this is these are the things, these are my symptoms, and like I just explained so much. She laughed at me and she's like, if you researching, or if like these tests didn't tell you that you had autism and ADHD, you going out and researching these like textbooks and like hyper focusing on this subject,
mm. Yeah, special
that
interest.
that tells you 100% that what
Yeah,
you are. And I think for me too is like, when I tell people, certain people that I have level 1 autism, they immediately think that like I am like into these weird things, and it's like
mm-hmm.
sometimes it's just about how you process the world.
Yeah,
And also, because of my intense love for acting and theater, I've always had this intense like ability to mimic people because I
mm.
didn't understand them. And my special interests were people.
Yeah,
And
yeah, 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 yeah.
that's just what my autism is.
Yeah,
And
you're kind of constantly observing and
constantly, and
questioning,
it's
curious,
so,
how people's mannerisms, do they mean that? They say that, but they look like they don't mean it. It's there's so much depth to, and I can see
yeah.
how the acting is just totally complementary to that, actually.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
funny. I was actually walking down the street with my friend the other day, and I would notice things, and they were like, "Oh, I didn't even notice that." And then I would like mimic the person that I've seen, and it's just funny because like that's all I do is I just see people and I pick them apart because
hmm,
I want to understand their experience, because I didn't understand who I was. And I think
hmm,
finding that foundation really important for someone who's neurodivergent, because if you don't, then you can lose yourself and you can lose your identity. And identity is such a huge thing that when I got diagnosed, I felt like I didn't have an identity because I'd given so much of myself away.
yeah,
Because in
yeah,
one group I would dress this way, in another group I dress that way. And, at this, 25 years of, or more, maybe 30 years of me pretending to be someone else in all of these groups, it's
hmm,
exhausting.
yeah, yeah.
It's exhausting.
So how did you
So,
find, if you felt so, did you kind of have a burnout then? Did you have, yeah,
all last year during the therapy and then after the therapy, I probably cried every single day. And
no,
which is a good thing. I think crying and having meltdowns is a really awesome, beautiful thing for neurodivergent people to do.
mm,
Like, don't deny yourself having those feelings, because that's energy.
yeah, yeah,
It's like, I was also reading other books on, I don't know if you know who Temple Grandin is, but she's
yeah, yeah,
also,
yeah. The
it's
the
so funny
autistic
because
brain.
I was
Mm.
obsessed with her before I got found out I was neurodivergent, and now I know why.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
she's awesome. But she wrote a book about autism and dogs. and how
Oh.
dogs are very similar to autistic nonverbal children because they're trying to vocalize their emotions and their feelings to you, but
Mm-hmm.
they don't have the adequate tools.
Yeah.
And I think that even if I have a voice, but like I didn't have the adequate tools to express my feelings. So like I got it's crazy because when I started doing producing, I wanted to be a better leader. I wanted to be a better communicator. So I switched my master's degree to communication because
Mm-hmm.
I sort of had this understanding that maybe I wasn't communicating properly or the way that
Mm-hmm.
people could. And I started realizing that people individually talk different from one another, even within their big groups. And that like knowing nonverbal communication is really important as well because it's
Mm-hmm.
not just what we say, it's what our bodies are doing.
Yeah.
And it's the energy that we're bringing, and it's also what we're not saying is really kind of what's going on. So
I
it
mean
helps me.
that sort of connects with the whole emotional release, right? It's like it's something that you can't necessarily verbalize, but there's this kind of evolutionary just explosion that you don't need to think to logically kind of explain, but it gets you to a better place. It's like a marker, right? It's a symbol that needs to be respected, um, and not avoided. It's like let it happen, let it come to you, accept that kind of intense emotion. Because I always feel like it is
Yeah.
difficult. I mean, neurodivergent people seem to have extreme emotions. There's a lot of burnout, there's a lot of overwhelm, there's a lot of response to random stimuli that others don't even notice. You know, you talked about being in a restaurant and looking at people and not and analyzing them, and it's just you can't switch that off. If you have sound coming at you, you have light coming at you. There's so many. As an autistic, I mean, I'm more autistic than I have little bit of ADHD, I think, but I'm definitely more leaned into the autism thing, and
Yeah.
I feel like the music has a it's like the one safe space that I don't have to explain myself verbally. It can just, I mean, I do write lyrics, but it's abstract in a way, and I don't have to kind of explain myself. It just does it, and there's a sort of relief in that. I
Yeah,
don't even have to
I
explain myself to myself, which is great because a lot of the time I'm
yeah,
trying to explain myself to myself, but the music I don't have to. So
yeah,
yeah.
I definitely agree with that. It's kind of like sometimes I hear a piece of music and I'm like, this explains how I feel right. And I have um I can't remember what it's called. It's like aphmathia, but where like you don't necessarily feel your feelings in your body. So
Mm,
as an actor, it's really important that you feel your feelings in your body. You know your toolbox, I guess, because I have to use my body to act as well. So that was one thing that I was like, oh, that makes sense because I intellectualize everything in
mm.
in so when I if I do it out loud with as my character, my body starts to react to it. So I actually have
Oh,
that's another system I have to do in order to get my body to participate in the acting scene. It's before the
so you
scene.
feel? Can you explain that a bit? So you feel slightly
Yeah,
disconnected from your
yeah.
physicality,
So
or
like, some people so like this is what they do in acting class all the time. They're like, how do you feel today? Like, what are you feeling? And I hate that question because
oh
I'm
yeah,
like,
it's terrible.
I'm like,
How are
what do you
you?
mean? Like,
Well,
what do you mean? How do I feel? Like,
yeah.
what do you, they're like, yeah, how's your body feeling? I'm like, but as soon as I go, well, and I talk it out, and then all of a sudden I start feeling it in my body, and I get it to connect. It's like, it's almost like my body and my emotions, because I have such intense emotional reactions to things,
Mm,
especially on stage, which is awesome as an actor,
mm.
not so awesome as a living a
As a
normal
as a real
life.
person, yeah, I know.
Yeah, like I was watching this South Park episode the other night, and like the woman, the gnome woman, was like shot a dog, and I started bawling because I was like, I had no idea about the whole she like shot her dog. I started crying because I was like, this. I was like, why do they keep shooting these dogs on this show?
Mm.
And the person I was with was like, are you okay? And I'm like, this is why? And then I finally figured it out, and I Googled it. I had to stop the show. I had to like Google and see the whole perspective, and then understand why they were doing that, and like understand like like I had to see the full scope of it to kind of go back and be like,
He's
okay, wait a
feeling
minute.
that. He's feeling that moment. Is it a he or she?
It's a he.
He.
Yeah, he's my baby. And so it's just like even then, like I'll have visceral reactions to things. So I really have to keep in mind when I'm in the real world, like
Mm.
how to maintain that without medication. Because I think
Mm.
that I really do believe our brains can do things that we can't imagine. And if we just, for someone who's neurotypical, if we just keep in the habit of it and do it every
Mm.
day, and it becomes a little bit easier,
Mm.
that rehearsal of it. I still rehearse things I'm going to say
Oh,
before
you do? Yeah.
in my head all the time. Oh, yeah.
Mm. Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
probably, I rehearsed this meeting probably like 5 times before.
Wow.
But then but as an actor, what I learned is that once I've rehearsed that, I need to just let it go and then just let it be and be in the moment. Because once I do that, then I feel natural and easy, and I've done my work, and I can just like let it go. And so like that's kind of how I approach acting as well.
Yeah.
Is
I
that
mean,
I do all that work.
yeah,
Yeah.
your flow here is like is supernatural. I don't,
Yeah.
I don't see. Maybe that's the acting. I don't know, but
Yeah, but that's literally what I do is I kind of go over what questions like you could ask and like what my responses could be, and then like I go okay, well then I'll go through my head and like say all these different types of responses, and then and and have that like that rehearsal in my head, and then I come and just, but I just recently started realizing that that's how I had to do things.
mm,
And it actually made my acting a lot better. And also it made my interactions with people better. It's like you
yeah,
can go and do those, like be that weird little autistic girl and like rehearse those conversations in your head before you have them, but don't go in there with the rehearsed lines. Let that go
yeah.
and just be, and then people will really see who you are. And I think that's one thing, as someone who's neurodivergent, I really had to understand of that letting
Mm.
go, that like people are going to judge you
Oh, yeah,
no matter what.
yeah,
and
exactly.
and that was one thing that really broke my heart in therapy, was realizing that people just don't care as
What do you
much as
mean?
I do. It still
Mm.
kind of breaks my, meaning like I have a really huge sense of justice.
Mm.
I care about people so deeply that I would take the shirt off my back for
Mm.
them, even if I didn't know them. Um, and it puts me in situations where I get used a lot.
Mm.
And
It's the
I've talked to
advantage
other,
taking, right? That's kind of a classic
yeah,
autism thing. Is
yeah.
yeah.
And it's people look at me and they think like, oh, she's tough, oh, she's this, and like I'm really not. Like
Hmm.
that stuff I've done because I love being doing martial arts. So I love boxing and stuff like that. I actually started doing it because I was such a klutz.
Yeah. Oh, so it's that
And
coordination thing, right? Yeah, yeah,
yeah, I still run into walls. I still run
yeah,
into
yeah.
walls. It's so
Dropping
funny when I
shit.
do, because people, yeah,
Mm.
like people make fun of me. They're like, Eva, aren't you like an MMA badass? And I'm like, yeah, but that wall came out of nowhere. Like I don't know what to, like I don't know what to do.
Absolutely,
Um,
because my brain was
so
somewhere else. Yeah.
yeah, and I was running in, I ran into this girl like a few times when I was working with her, and she kind of like stopped me. She's like, is there something wrong? Did I do something wrong? And I was like, oh no, I honestly, I didn't even know I keep running into you. I had no idea. And then we had this conversation about it. And then we laughed it off. But like, even then, like that type of miscommunication, just based on the fact that I have like spatial awareness issues,
Yeah.
is important to know myself. I mean, that's one thing that I'm so glad acting was my vocation, more like something I was drawn to. Because the
Mm.
one thing I was taught in since I was really little about acting is like you have to know who you are
Yeah.
through and
Mm.
through to be a really good actor. Because if you don't, then you don't know what you're working with.
Mm-hmm.
So like that whole quote from Socrates of like know thyself, I have it tattooed on me.
Oh, gee.
And yeah, just
Mm.
to remind myself to always know who you are. And that was really I don't think I ever really knew who I was until recently. And I
Is
think
that
that was
so? Was that like a? I mean, it's a mind-blowing thing to when that happens. Obviously, it's still fresh. You know, you're probably still resonating with that feeling and very excited by it. And are you? Is it all fuel right now, or is it like, or are you still struggling with what that means for your
I
future?
yeah, I think right now it's every day it's less and less because I've I'm building a foundation of like, okay, you know, what that quote of like, you are um what's that quote? It's like go and create you don't find yourself, you go and create yourself.
Mm.
So I was like, okay, if we are all creators, humans are just creative beings, then what person do I want to create?
Mm.
Who am I? And so like I remember, back when I was in high school, I liked wearing all black and I liked, reading nerdy things and not having to worry about people judging me on those things. So I got rid of like all the clothes that I had that were bright and colorful that would make me feel like I had like decision fatigue, and I want to wear black
Mm.
now. And it made my life so much easier. When I walk around, even at night or like in the subway, I'm in New York right now. Like I wear these like red sunglasses
Mm.
that neutralizes everything because everything is so incredible. Like a lot of mine is visual. So if I
Mm.
see something that is shiny, like the ADHD squirrel in me is like this, and I get
Yeah, yeah.
distracted. So having that and like fluorescent lights have always been a bother to me. So like if
Oh
I'm
God,
in
yeah.
acting class and there are fluorescent lights, I will wear my glasses. I don't give a fuck. I don't
Yeah,
give a
good.
fuck anymore.
Good, good.
Because it's like, why do I have to pretend like this doesn't bother me or that it's
Hmm.
not going to emotionally deregulate me when I don't want to be emotionally dysregulated? I want to be at present.
Yeah.
So it's more like I'm keeping myself safe by putting systems like that in. Or like when I'm over at Juilliard right now,
But say that
in
again.
their
Sorry,
extension program, and I'm also taking.
I'm sorry, you broke up for a
Oh,
second.
Juilliard. I'm at Juilliard right now
Oh,
in their extension
oh,
program.
are you? Okay, that's fantastic. What?
Yeah, yeah. So when I do a lot of musical theater, so
Mm.
I'm taking lessons again, and one of the things that I told my instructor, like I'm doing this benefit on October 3rd, I was like, I'm wearing my sunglasses on stage because I don't like to look at people when I
Yeah,
sing. It makes me nervous. So that's a system for me that works that
yeah.
makes it so I don't have that anxiety. Like I was telling you earlier, when I used to do musical theater in high school and in college, I used to throw up before I went on stage because I was
Hmm.
so fucking nervous.
Yeah.
And the stage manager would just be like, I don't know how you do that. I'm like, I have to.
I mean, I close my eyes a lot of the time. So if I'm on stage and I've just learned to go. I mean, I love to see people and feel that energy. I do love that, and it's feeds me immensely. But there is a lot of moments where I just close my eyes
Yeah.
and it feels so sublime and I feel like I can actually enjoy it more with them when I'm
Yeah.
closing my eyes.
100%. That,
Mm,
I mean, that's exactly how it feels. It's just
yeah,
sometimes I just when especially when I'm on camera now and like there are people watching me perform, I definitely have a system where I hyper focus on the other person in the scene and then it just drowns everybody out. I think that's one thing about good thing about having ADHD is that I now and learning how to work with my ADHD is that it's I can use it when I need it,
yeah,
especially in those moments because that's something I love to do is be in a scene with somebody and engage. So if I get my excitement up, my dopamine up naturally on that,
mm.
will disappear on me and I give a really good performance. So I
So
think that's
when you're connecting with somebody in a scene, is it does it feel real? I mean, do you feel
oh yeah. But when people say like, oh, acting is fake, that is
yeah,
absolutely false.
yeah,
The camera does not lie. You can pretend all you want, but if you are in a scene and those emotions aren't real, the camera can tell. I mean,
hmm,
it's so like when I say like acting is more about truth and being real and honest in a scene, it really is. When I'm in a scene and I'm feeling those emotions, those are real emotions. They might not be um like I don't try to use like things from the past and whatnot because I think that's
yeah,
really I feel like that's unhealthy. But like in the moment, if something is irritating me and I will use that. If they're irritating me or what they're saying is really hurtful, I really listen to what they're saying. So it really
mm,
hits me hard and
mm.
then it becomes real. I think that's what's important about
How do you take that into
acting.
how do you take that into your reality? So if you're having kind of multiple relationships in different levels, friendships, love, enemies, whatever acting you're doing, how do you take, how does that translate into your real life? I mean, you
Like
talked
how
about
I
like,
treat them in
you
real
know,
life.
like difficult in terms of like, how do you separate that? So if you have like a relationship or a partner or something, um, you know, how do you separate that? Does that not get you into trouble? Because I find that artists, creatives, and with such intensity as well, that are connected so emotionally to what they're doing, I feel like it doesn't always match
Can't always
the
let it
reality
go.
of, yeah, you know, do you
Um,
have to have lot I mean, like with neurodiversity, there's often it's connected. There's connections with polyamory and consensual non-monogamy and BDSM and kink and all these things that are kind of uh, ways to relate to others that are alternative to the kind of standard nuclear monogamous thing, because that must be so, I think that's so intense and so different to the world that you're living in when you're either acting or performing or writing or I don't know. Am I going on?
no, no, I think I think I understand what you're saying. Like, so I'm an atheist. I
Mm.
absolutely believe that this is a social construct. Neurodivergent people are not meant for this planet, and it this place is like this place is not functional for us.
Mm.
So, we do have to create systems that
Yeah.
make it so that we can function and that we can be seen as something as I don't want to use that word as a problem, but like sometimes when I question authority and it's just simply because I just want to understand the full scope of things, it's not because I'm questioning them or their management skills or their da da da. It's just because I need to know the full scope of things
Hmm.
in order to move past
Yeah.
my my anxiety or my worry or my this wall so that I can just be. Because if
Yeah.
I don't know those things, I can't fully be present and available for other people who are neurotypical.
Hmm.
So for me, it's like I think that if you want to go do those things and be polyamorous and be with multiple people, and that's your thing, there are no rules. All of these rules on this planet are made up anyway.
Mhm,
So what, and we are our own universe. So make
mhm,
your universe and your safe space how you want it and how what makes sense to you. And if that's what makes you feel safe and you're doing it in a safe way, then that's what you should be doing.
mhm.
Um, and and you're surrounding yourself with those safe people as well who understands that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
really important. And I don't think people should be judging other people based on like, oh, they're poly. It's like, go fuck yourself. They let them be poly.
yeah.
Like you don't have to be poly.
Right.
You
I mean,
don't have to do all those things.
exactly.
Like
So the
let
social
them do that.
constructs.
That's just something that like it honestly, as soon as I got diagnosed, it felt like I was had woken up in the Matrix. I told that to a few
Mhm.
people, and especially the women that I've talked to who have been diagnosed over the age of 40, with this with ADHD or like with autism, like that's how they felt, and it's so true. It's
Yeah.
like you're realizing that this whole place is not meant for you, and you have to really create your own world inside of this other place that doesn't understand what you need in order to get things done the same exact way as other people. And I mean, that's what I love about Albert Einstein, who I've always been obsessed with in the theory of relativity, is that like things are relative. You can get drunk and I can, or like, we can all get drunk, but it's going to take a different amount of drinks to get us drunk, but we're still going to be at the same level of drunkenness. To me, it's like, it doesn't matter as long as about your journey, as long as the same destination is the same.
Yeah.
So if you can find love in a polyamorous relationship or with a man or a woman or whatever, like that, that is beautiful. And because everyone deserves to have love. So if that's
Yeah.
what makes you feel
I guess
love,
I was more curious about you. I kind of crowbarred that whole poly thing, and but it was more
yeah.
that more that like trying to pin you down in terms of like how did that, how did that, like you're talking about. I agree with everything you're saying. I agree that uh, when you wake up, because this is about waking up from a dream, right? That you've been dreaming your whole life, and oh wow, okay, now I'm awake, and I live in a world that it feels totally alien to me. It always felt alien, but you mask enough to tolerate it, and then at
Mhm.
some point you can't tolerate it anymore, and that's when you come out and you get diagnosed, and then you have a lot of therapy, and you start to reinvent yourself, or at least accept yourself. So then, um, when that happens, I feel like there's such a psychological shift. Uh, what in terms of your real life relationships, or uh, how did that change anything for you to be to
Yeah,
shift like
I
that?
would say like I also suffer from this thing called limerence, and I think a lot of other women do
What's
who
that
are
called?
neurodivergent do as well. It's called limerence. It's kind
Limerence?
of like limerence.
Limerence. Okay,
It's
yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's kind of one of those like symptoms that they don't talk about very often, but you kind of see it in the movies a lot. These girls who are like I don't want to use the word obsessed, but they're like infatuated with somebody that doesn't love them back. And
Hmm.
that is kind of what happens to me sometimes um if I'm not aware of it. It's with friends, it happens with me, with lovers. So like for me, it's really important that I understand that aspect of me of, hey, is this limerence or is this really I like this person? So
Can you
for me
expand
it's
on that a little bit?
yeah,
I know exactly what you're talking about. That I didn't realize it was such
yeah,
a
it's actually a
studied
thing.
thing.
Yeah, and they're still doing studies on it, and it happens a lot more in women who have
Yeah.
neurodivergence than anything else. And I wish it was talked about more because I feel like sometimes that's the reason why girls are called crazy, like, and it's like, no, we're not, they're not crazy. they just don't understand your social or like your neurotypical cues, and
Mm.
they misinterpret that as this is what love is, or this is them liking
Yeah.
me. And
Yep. Yeah.
so that's one thing that I have to be aware of. Like, is this person really liking me back for who I am, or is this something they're doing to like not be passive aggressive, but they're actually meaning something else behind what they're saying. And
Mm.
so for me, it's like I really have to be friends with somebody first. I really have to get to know them. I really have to like have some deep conversations with them before I can really start to like them, or do any of that type of stuff, so that I can feel safe to just be myself. I think
Okay.
that's what I have to do, because otherwise I get really attached to people very quickly. Um,
Right.
because I do care. And I get really grandiose about my pebbling sometimes too, because ADHD women, or what I found is we do kind of love bomb in a way, but the love bombing is like consistent. It's not just like it stops. It's like it never stops. Like
Yeah.
never. Um, and so I had to go, okay, well, you can do those things, Ava, because that's who you are, but you have to make them cost efficient. You have to make them very small, and you can't do it all the time. So what I've done is gone, okay, this is who you are.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't going to change.
Mm-hmm.
How can I create a system to where you can still do those things and you can still show your affection and do those like those grandiose people, but in a smaller scaled way, so
Mm.
that it's not as intense,
Yeah.
because that's
Yeah.
I'm a very intense person. And it's
Mm.
also, it's when you're telling a story, or when I'm creating a character, or when I'm in a scene, or when I listen to music, there's a crescendo of it starts out soft, and it comes in very slowly, and then it starts to get intense. And I use that analogy of the frog in the water. Like if you put a frog in boiling water, it's going to jump out. If you put a frog in cold water and then boil it slowly, you'll
Mm-hmm.
slowly boil the frog. So it's like learning that about myself, of how my intensity.
Is that your relationship style then? So
Yeah,
what
I'm
boil
like,
the frog?
yeah. So like I'm not lesbian or anything, but
Mm.
I definitely have people make fun of me of having that lesbian mentality of like you move in really quick.
You hauling.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So me, it's like knowing that about myself. It's going,
Mm.
okay, slow down. If you slow down, then you can see the fuller picture about this person and what their intentions are, who they actually are, before you give yourself away, because that's you need to protect your peace more than you need to be giving to this person.
That's
So
true.
I think that,
But do you find
yeah,
that like okay, so that's great. I think there is a certain level of like okay, I have to sort of self-regulate here so that I don't
yeah,
freak people out. Okay, there is that, but I understand that. I mean,
yeah,
I'm pretty intense in certain situations, and it gets me into trouble, and
yeah.
and I'm pretty boundaryless in conversations, and it's connected with the autism. I think the autism plus the artistic expression mentality it can be a bit wild. So if you've got that going on, um, but at some point, I just what you've just described, it just sounds like, well, isn't that another form of masking to a certain degree? You have to control yourself, pull yourself back,
It
not
is,
freak people out, or
it
do you
is,
think
but
is it more for your own benefit? What?
yeah, I
Yeah,
think it's setting boundaries. I think it's going,
right,
I don't need to give my energy to everyone. They don't deserve it. It's kind of like understanding your worth. I think most neuro divergent
right. I
people
see.
don't understand their worth, because
The
they
value, yeah.
themselves, like every day, it's like you're worthless, you're this, you can't do this, you can't do that, and then on top of that, you have the world telling you that. You have the
Mm.
world telling you're lazy, you're this, you can't, like in school, because you're inattentive, or all these things, and so you're literally self doubting yourself all the time, and
Yeah.
having this story on repeat that you're not worthy
Second
enough.
nature. Yeah.
Yeah, and
For
so I
sure.
think it's really like changing the story and the script in your head daily. I mean, I have post-it notes on my walls to remind myself, you're worthy, you're this, you're that, because I will forget. Um, and I think just
Yeah.
that daily, it might be stupid that I have like things tattooed on my body, on my wall that say those things to remind myself. But if that is my system to
It's
make
not
sure that
stupid.
I am, no, it's not. But like it, but I know how someone who would be neurodivergent thinking like, oh, people are going to find out that I'm doing this. Like finding
Right.
out that people don't care was not only the most heartbreaking thing to discover. I mean, I think I cried for 45 minutes in my therapy session and cried more about it later. But it was also very freeing because
You mean what do you mean? Care for about what exactly?
like because I care so much about what people think. I care about what
Yeah.
I care about
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
how they view me. I care about being able to fit in. I care about like
Saying the right
having
thing,
playing the
not
right,
not
yeah,
not regretting that you're going to say that thing because you were impulsive, etc.
yeah,
Yeah.
or
Yeah. Yeah.
saying something that's like too abrasive, and
Mm.
people are like, that's too intense. So it's
Inappropriate. Yeah, for sure.
yeah, or
Yeah.
like that's not the right setting to say that. And it's like, oh, yeah, it's more about you finding those people that you can be safe with, and
Mm.
then not allowing the people that you don't feel safe with out of your life. Like I don't care. They're just noise.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
I
that
think you
is
have to
just
be
noise
super
to me.
selective. It's like I think once you have that psychological shift, you come out. You have to develop your filter, right? You have to your system becomes this sort of quite a hardcore filter, and and
Yeah,
and and to not in terms of like avoiding, just being clever about how you organize your life and your social interactions and your
yeah,
relationships and who you invite in and who you don't, and because it's all navigating that's all second nature to neurotypical people. There's just like, oh yeah, whatever, well, let's meet on Friday night and everything's good, let's have a beer or whatever. And that just
yeah.
like
But
just me saying that gives me kind of anxiety, the idea of having a beer with some dude in a fucking bar, um and just shooting the shit is just intolerable a lot of the time. So you have to find the right people so you can go deep
yeah,
quickly and just feel like you're solving the problems of the world right together. So it is definitely, and you lose your way like I'm doing right now, but also you have a bad memory, right? So you talked about the
yeah,
post-it note. You talked about the post-it notes, and why I said that's not stupid. I think it's extremely clever because I feel like, well, no, I mean, I think it's well known that like, working memory and executive function is so unique in us that we're so selective, and I forget so many things, but if it's a special interest, I remember everything and precisely and all that kind of thing. So
yeah,
emotional things, things to say about yourself, I think you forget the inner memory forgets what the inner voice has said a lot of the time to yourself. So if you say, well, I am doing this and I am valuable and I am these things, it sounds a little kind of kooky or cliched, but it's actually really useful. I mean, I did that
yeah.
once. Yeah, sure. I did that once when I had a sort of massive breakdown and had a uh, intense depression and insomnia and all those things, and I did exactly that, which was I sort of plastered the whole room with actually bigger like pieces of paper um and just wrote all of the things that I needed to remember, because I just couldn't remember. I'd forgotten what I should be loving, for instance. I just couldn't remember what to love, even if it was about myself. And so that sort of putting that system in place is so important as a
So
neurodivergent.
important. So you got me so much because that is exactly how I feel sometimes. Like when I have a meltdown about the world, it's like I have to go back and remind myself of like those types of things because it's our brains are just wired so differently, and especially since like, you know, being bullied as a kid, and like and the people and adults in your life telling you these things that you're not good enough or you're not normal, and it's like those systems, they're they work,
Yeah.
and it's funny how those little small things are the things that go
Oh,
get you
Oh,
sorry
back
about that. My
into
bad.
hello.
yeah, can you hear me? um they get
Something's
you back
happening.
into where you need to be.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's.
sorry.
Are you
um
upset? Are you sorry?
oh
Typical
no, I
autist.
was just saying
Why are you crying?
yeah, no, no, I was just saying that what you were saying was resonating with me so much, like
Yeah.
that when you put those things on the wall when you're like having after a meltdown, it's so important. Like
Hmm.
I had a meltdown probably 3 days ago. I came back home and I was just so exhausted from interactions all day. I just had a really good cry. And then you know, I had to like write a big note on my wall, like what I needed to get back to, and it really helped me. And then I got back there, but it's like yeah, going home and having a meltdown after having a very exhausting sensory driven day
Yeah. Yeah.
is is so cathartic.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm
That's
not
great.
even embarrassed to tell people anymore. I'm like, they're like, how was your day? Or like, what did you do? And I'm like, oh well, I went home and had a meltdown, and like and they're like, what? I'm like, oh yeah, it's just the meltdown.
That is it.
It
It's
happens.
you have to find a way to normalize that stuff because it's gonna keep happening.
Yeah,
The
yeah, oh,
autistic
100%.
meltdown is just part of being autistic,
Yeah.
and there's nothing you can get. You know, even when you're in it and you don't realize it, it's like you feel like the world is ending, and that you're right, and you don't know
Everything's
why.
soul crushing.
Yeah, it's still as illogical, and but later I often find that an hour later it's like, oh God, it was that thing again. It wasn't I mean, it was triggered by something real, but in the end it was just a fucking autistic meltdown, and I put all of these meanings to it. um so I think to normalize it, to let it in, and is just beautiful that you've
Yeah.
managed to find a
And
system that you can do that.
and I think also, walking my dog every night too is really helpful because it gets
Oh
me
yeah.
out of my head. And
Mm.
listening to music, I will destroy a song. I have probably listened to Six Underground like 1,000 times.
Oh wow.
Or like there's another one you did that I've listened to 1,000 times, and I still go back to it every once in a while. Well, like oh, five from
Mm.
Splinter. Like I
Mm.
will listen to that, or you have a new one. Anyway, there's a couple other ones from your IAMX group that I listen to as well, like Bernadette.
Mhm.
And so
Yeah.
to me, it's like having music in my life is so important as a neurodivergent, because that's where I feel like that's just where my emotions live, are in these songs that just like take me to places. And
Yeah.
I can listen to a song over and over again, like for a full week, and then not listen to it for like 6 months, and then listen to it again, and I'm crying because it just makes me feel so much different.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
so there's just so much in music that I am really grateful for as an artist, that like really keeps me grounded as a neurodivergent, because it's just
I agree. I agree. I think
it really
art is the saving uh force in a lot of neurodiverse lives,
yeah.
because
And
it creates an alternative reality, right? It does. We're looking at the world that is not built for us, and it's full of kind of disgusting contradictions, and all of the things that are very illogical, and and on so many levels, not just on the sort of corrupt governmental level, but on a basic neurotypical personal day in day out level of hypocrisy. It's You see it on everywhere, and you just you you go crazy if you try and kind of lean in and deconstruct and try and do anything about it. But at least you can go to art and feel this comfort that others see that, and also create a space where you can kind of coexist with the artist in an alternative reality. And yeah, I guess it's a bit like gaming as well. So I don't know if that's
yeah,
something.
I feel it's like almost like when you listen to music or you see a character that you are connecting with in a movie, if you're seeing a mirror, really.
Yeah,
You know, after I got diagnosed, I started noticing who I connect with in scenes when I watch movies. And I was like, oh, I connect with that character because of these things, because they have the neurodivergent
yeah,
tendencies, or they're the
yeah,
ones who are misunderstood. And then
yeah.
I started going, oh, that's who I am. And you need to start realizing that you are these characters that people are portraying that you see all the time. Those are people that you can portray easily. That's who you are. Because when someone would be like, oh, just be yourself on camera, I'd be like, what the fuck does that mean? Because
What does it mean?
I didn't know
Yeah.
what that means. And now that I do, now that it's like, great, you can be emotional and you can emote and you can be this like sweet little gentle giant that people don't really realize you are on
Mhm.
screen. And you can still look like the tough girl that people assume you are.
Yeah.
I love my contradictions and I love my stereotypes as well. But my contradictions are make me who I really, really am. And I think
Are
that's a
you
really
finding,
cool thing.
so when you had your diagnosis and you sort of deconstructed the whole thing and you've read obsessively about that special interest, did you find other kind of traits that you resonate with, like RSD, or like are you, sorry, rejection sensitivity dysphoria? Do
Yeah,
you have things like that?
I do have that. I think um, for acting, being a producer helped me to get over that for my auditions, knowing that
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. Sometimes they go with somebody because of a look. Sometimes they go with somebody who is they happen to know them, and you might be the best actor for the job, but they might pick somebody who's not even that good, but they pick them because they're better looking or they think that they're
Right.
better. You know,
Right.
they're
Right.
terrible. So like for me, it's now I just do my work, and if I'm really happy with what I put in, great, and I let it go. So, but it took a lot of work. That's
Yeah. Yeah.
I've done so many auditions at this point where it's like I don't even it's just noise now. But like it took me a long time to do that. And also I think it took me like 3 years to be able to look somebody in the eye on
Hmm.
camera because
Hmm.
I my eyes would dart. Um, so I'd have to really work on that and rehearse on
Hmm.
how to look at somebody. And so
Yeah.
finally I figured it out where it's like, it's okay, you don't have to look at people on camera anymore. You can just give a natural performance of how you would say it. And if you're not looking at the person the entire time, great. It
Yeah.
just like make sure that you are looking at that person and certain words or like to give a certain like feel, because that's what's important. So it kind of had to like retrain my brain of like, you don't have to be looking at the person in the scene.
Hmm.
That's
Hmm.
not something that neurotypical people or like your neurodivergentness, you don't have to do. And like it's kind of like almost telling being like a mom to yourself or that person that would have protected me had I not been there or like in high school, and just being kinder to myself about things
Hmm.
that I do and just accepting those weird idiosyncratic things I do and being just okay that's how you do that. That's
Yeah. I mean,
okay.
the eye contact is definitely a big thing.
Oh yeah.
I've learned to do that too, because I realized that that's what you supposed to do. And
Yeah.
now
Or
now it's second
if
nature.
I'm
But
in
mm,
yeah, if I'm in an argument with someone or something that's like it's a very intense discussion, I can't look at them because otherwise my I can't really fully give them the scope of what I'm trying to communicate to
yeah,
them. So I will look down and focus on something else and then explain what I'm trying to say. And then I'll take a breath and look up because that way I don't feel as nervous trying to get out what I need to say, but still
mm,
looking at them.
yeah,
It's to me, it's like, it's okay. Just explain it to them by looking at the floor so that you can get everything you need to say out. And if they are not listening to what you're saying because you're not looking at them, then that's their problem.
I mean,
That's not
the eye thing is so, I find that it's so connected with just the size of the universe. When if I'm looking at somebody in the eyes, it is the definition of the other, right? The outside, the thing that you're sort of yearning to connect with, and if you like, the eyes are so, it is the thing of the other, right? And that we're always struggling with. So when even just having a conversation with someone, it's like I get distracted, or in terms of like my mind will go to the big thoughts, the infinite, the universe is bigger than this conversation. Their eyes, I'm looking into their eyes, and all I want to do is kind of say, we're alive, right? It's like you want to kind of go straight to it, but we're just having a small talk conversation, or I'm down at the fucking local grocery store trying to get some apples, and they're like, what, why am I looking at that person funny? So it does definitely, I find that intensity. I don't know if that is the autism. I think it is the autism. I think it's definitely connected with that. It's a sort of level of like wanting to know what's going on in that person's kind of depths of their being, and that's the way in. So it's always really strange for me, eye contact. Although I've learned to deal with it better, as you have to do it in your job all the time. That must be intense. I can't imagine how you.
exhausting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little exhausting, but like I honestly, when I look at somebody when I'm talking to them, I don't, it doesn't bother me because what I'm saying is so truthful that it doesn't really matter anymore.
Mm.
And I think that like it's made a difference just being kinder to myself about my little quirks. I think
Yeah.
that's the most important thing, is that if there's anything that any neurodivergent person listening can really understand, it's just being kinder to yourself about
Hmm.
how you like, don't try to be like other people, just be yourself, and accept those things that you do, and create systems around the things that you do so that you
Yeah.
can, yeah, I
Yeah.
think that that's the most important. And I'm kind of vocal about my neurodivergence. Like if I do something, like I immediately go, hey, I'm neurodivergent. These are some of the things I need in order to like make sure that I feel safe. Like, can we work on this? And people are like, oh my God, like I had no idea, so
Do you get
um
pushback on that professionally? Do you get pushback or?
no,
Mm.
I get like, you don't look this way. And I'm like, oh, like let me do that a little autism dance for you. Like I don't need to
What?
um you know, like it's like
Wow.
that's the one thing I get, is like, you don't look that, or you don't seem like you're that way. And it's like, yeah, but it's how I process things. And like, if I need time to process what you just said, I usually go, hey, can I get a few minutes or an hour to process what you said, and we can come back to this? Or if I don't
Hmm.
understand what someone asked me, I go, can you restate that in a different way so I can make sense of it? It's not, it's just going, hey, these are my issues. Can you help me understand? Because I do want to understand. I do want to be present, but
Hmm.
I don't have that capacity or that processing capacity.
Yeah.
Can you help me? Because I need that extra help.
Hmm.
And I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. And I think I've learned to be really vocal about it. And I know that there are some, that's another thing too, is like I always had really weird relationships with women who were neurotypical because I was trying to fit in. And now
Mm.
that I found out that I was neurodivergent, I am connecting with these amazing women who have the same thought process I do. And like we're so supportive of each other, even though we're distant and far away. And to me, that's really important because it's now creating a community for myself, like who I can go talk to if I'm having
Yeah.
one of those days where I need to talk to somebody about how an experience I had. And then sure enough, as soon as I say, hey, this is the experience I had today, like they're like, oh my God, I had a similar experience like last week. And it makes me feel so much better because I don't feel lonely. And I think
Yeah, yeah,
that's one of the
absolutely.
experiences as a neurodivergent person. It's a very lonely existence.
You
I
have to
don't,
find your people, right? It is lonely.
yeah.
It is lonely.
And they're lonely on their own too. So like the
Mm,
internet and social media has been a wonderful thing for me because that's how I connect with more of those types of people. And I'm really grateful, of the people that I have come in contact with. One of my favorite places to do that are at Comic Cons. I am not a Comic Con nerd, but I have met some of my greatest neurodivergent friends
oh
at
yeah,
these
they're all
places
there.
because they will accept you if for the things you like and they don't care. They just want to talk about an info dump on you on these things. And I just want to info dump on my cool things and it's awesome. So like and to me, I also kind of like I work at this jazz club here in New York a little bit, and there's so many neurodivergent musicians, and I meet them, and we're shooting the shit because like they're info dumping on me about music stuff, and I'm info dumping about
Mm,
acting stuff, and
hmm hmm
it's cool.
Yeah, it is.
It's really about finding people that make you feel safe, and you can just be quirky and weird, and not allowing setting up boundaries and learning how to set up safe boundaries so people don't take the energy away from you and make you feel less than because you're not.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
neurodivergent people are not less than. We're just here to make the world way better because the way that
Incredible.
the way that we think is so outside the box that like if they didn't have us, I feel like the world wouldn't work how it sometimes it does. I mean, James Baldwin, who's an amazing hero of mine, he said like there really
Mm,
truly are only a few people who are making this world go round and
mm,
make this world understand the type of love that exists in this and the type of connection we can really have. And it's true. And I feel like that's neurodivergent. We are here to question authority. We're here to like be creative and think outside the box and make everybody else there's status quo, shake that up a little bit because it can't always just be that,
mm.
you know.
I
So
agree.
I think it's really
What's
cool
your
being
window?
neurodivergent.
What's your
Huh?
window like when you because we're like little engines, right? We kind of go boom, 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 boom. I have a window of about an hour 20 where I'm like, okay, now I'm shut down. I'm like a fucking, wind up doll. Like shut down,
Um,
brain done.
if I take a gummy,
Oh yeah?
I take a sativa gummy.
Did you do that today?
No, I'm at home and I haven't really done much, but um if I'm out in public and I take a sativa gummy, I'm great. I can last up until maybe 11 and then
Mm-hmm.
I'm good. And
Mm-hmm.
I have to go home. I will Irish goodbye. I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, crowds of people, I can't do it anymore. I gotta go.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm not doing any of that sativa stuff, I probably won't even go out.
Yeah, right.
I'll probably make up an excuse and
Mm.
say like I'm sick or I have to hang out with my dog and I so
So we'll
I
probably
think
talk. We'll
that's
talk in like another 5 years when you're in AA again with the.
yeah, no. Yeah, I think weed is something that I use as like a tool. It helps me sleep too because I don't like
Oh
taking
yeah.
medication for my ADHD for my autism. So it helps me sleep. It helps me like feel a little bit more social, and you
Mm.
can't die from it. No one, it's not gonna.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like to me, it doesn't. It's something that's very natural. I
Mm.
can act like myself still, and it doesn't like make me feel like I'm not acting like myself.
Yeah.
It
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it just kind of like
It's a
it makes
subtle. Mhm.
yeah, it just kind of is a little it's a little bit of a dopamine fix that I need to like get
Mhm.
my normalcy in, and then I can get out. Yeah.
And then is it like do you do mushrooms and stuff like microdosing and stuff like that, or is that
I
not?
I I have, but I haven't really done much of that. Yeah, but
Okay. Okay, well that's. I want to talk forever, but what time is it now? Are we?
Oh yeah, I should probably get going, but
Uh,
this was
are we? I
awesome.
love this.
You don't even know.
Oh
I
yeah,
told my
we
mom
should do
about
it.
this and she was like super excited.
Oh, do you want to do it again? We could do it again,
Yeah, if
if
you
you
want
want.
to, let me know.
Because I feel like there's such a big, expansive subject we could get into here. That yeah, and you need to talk more. I want to listen.
I know I could talk all day. That's the ADHD for sure.
That's good.
Uh,
Good.
but this is also like what's the word I'm going to use? This is a special interest for me. So
Absolutely.
I've learned all about like the P4 and the P3 brain and like the
Mhm.
amygdala and all that stuff. So like I literally could talk about this all day. So
Oh, I
um,
love the neuroscience behind it. We could talk more kind of
yeah,
really nerdy if you want. I like that too. Maybe next time we'll go nerdy on it.
yeah.
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 All right.
Thank
Um,
you so much
I
for being here, Ava.
Yeah, no, of course. Thank you for having me. Yeah,
thank you. What's his name
that's
again?
time.
What's the dude in the back?
Scout. Scout.
Yeah.
Scout.
Gout.
Yeah, he's named after To Kill a Mockingbird, the little girl in To Kill a
Oh,
Mockingbird.
Scout.
Scout.
Okay, Scout. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. I thought you said gout.
I
That's a tragic name for the poor guy.
Oh, oh, we're so happy to have you and
Oh,
But this is my
Scout.
dog, Gout.
yeah, this is
Oh,
my
this is my
dog
dog.
Gout.
We love Scout.
Oh,
He's a
thank
Okay.
you.
star. And thank
I
you
think you're
so much.
awesome, Ava. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for
Yes.
having me.
Yeah,
It's
I hope we'll
beautiful.
talk to you again
Nice to connect
soon.
with a fellow comrade
Yeah.
weirdo. Love it.
All right. Bye-bye, guys.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Cool.
Am
We
I
are no
going?
longer live.
Oh.
Wait. I